Weekly meetings with your higher self can completely change your life. So many people I see out there are trying to create their desired reality and achieve their goals from their current identity versus connecting to their higher self. Not only that, so many of us are so attached to the outcome, the goal, the desire, right? While also being rooted in an identity of fear, of lack, doubt, pressure, limitations. So, even if you're taking action, the energy behind the action is more important than the action itself. And so today I want to teach you how to have weekly meetings with your higher self and start reverse engineering your goals so that you could have the exact blueprints you need, the identity that you really need to tap into, so that you can fuel the actions you're taking with the energy of flow and the energy of your higher self so that you can get to your goals and your desires with ease. So before we get into the steps, I just want to talk about what your higher self is. Your higher self is the version of you who is already at the top of the mountain. She or he or whoever is already seeing the path that has the least resistance for you to take. It is always guiding you. It's almost like I like to call it your loving, your wise, this warm energy, kind of like a parent energy. And the most important part about all of this is that we can each tap into our higher selves. We can each channel the energy of our higher selves. We all have it in us. And what I love about connecting to the higher self and why that's even something we're doing is because it allows you to step out of your current identity, to separate fear from truth, and really see from a bird's eye view what is actually happening. Because we all know that when we are in our problems, we are in our problems and we cannot see how to get out of it. But funny enough, we can actually, within our own consciousness, which within our own mind, separate ourselves from our identity and see things through a different lens. So this exercise is really going to help you reframe and help you shift into alignment and just connect with what the truth really is and what you really need to do so that you are going about your desires with flow, with ease, with alignment, right? With true authenticity. So to do this exercise, I highly recommend getting a journal and a pen, and you can do this while listening to this, or you can do this afterwards. But we're actually going to go back to this be, do, have method. You might have already heard of this, but essentially we're going to look at the order of creation and we're going to kind of reverse engineer it. So step number one, you're going to go in as you are, as your current identity. The things that you are doing, the things that you are feeling, your current reality as it stands, what you're seeing in your external reality, you are going to come as that version of you as you are right now. So you're going to start with have. I want you to just write down what is your current reality in relation to your desire. Like, what is it that you're actually getting versus what you actually want? For example, you want 5 new clients in your program versus now your current reality is you don't have any clients. Then we're going to go to do, which precedes have. And I just want you to write down the action steps that you're currently taking in order to reach that goal, in order for you to gain those new clients. Just be as honest as possible here. Like, you are connected as yourself. Nobody else is seeing this exercise. It's only you. So don't be afraid to just write exactly what you are doing. Don't think too much about it. Just don't let it be logical. Like, this exercise is meant to really show where your limits are, where your fears are, where your blocks are. So just be authentic here. Then the most important part of this formula that we are really going to be allowing ourselves to pour out of us is the B. So B really stands for first your feelings. So I want you to write down, what are you currently feeling in relation to your desire and your ability to achieve this goal and your identity even, right? Like, what are you feeling right now in relation to achieving it, in relation to if you feel comfortable with it, in relation to if you feel capable of achieving it. Just write down all the feelings that you currently have. Remember, this is your current reality that we're doing in step one. From those feelings, we can now flip them into beliefs, because any feeling that you're currently having only exists because you have a belief. All of our beliefs create our reality. So go through each feeling and ask yourself, what would I need to believe in order to feel this way? So a lot of the times, the feeling will just be easily flipped into a belief. For example, you might have a fear, you might be feeling that, like, this is just not going to happen. You're having a hard time trusting that this success of having more clients is just possible for you. Therefore, your belief could simply be, I don't believe it's possible for me. So a lot of the times, the belief is going to be I, right? And there's a lot of nuances here because it could be in relation to your specific goal, right? For example, it's hard to attract new clients, right? That's not really an identity belief, but there are so many different categories of belief, and we're not going to get into it today, but I just want you to allow whatever comes up to come up, because it could be a core belief about your identity. It could be a belief about the desire itself. It could be a belief about what it takes to get to that desire, right? Just allow yourself to break down those feelings into what you must believe to be true in order for you to be feeling those feelings. Amazing. So we just did step number one. You showed up as your current self and you broke down the have, the do, and the be. Be being the most important piece. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to step into our higher selves. I want you to just, if you've never done this before, maybe like take a moment to close your eyes and just imagine the version of you who's already there, who's already at the top of the mountain, and tap into the energy of calm, of knowing, of trusting, of abundance, of empowerment, right? Like those are all qualities that describe your higher self. Your higher self just trusts, just knows, is super confident, super secure. That's the most important piece, I would say. Your higher self is super secure. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at everything you just wrote down via the lens of your higher self. And now, instead of starting with have, we're going to go back to, like I mentioned, the most important element being be. Now, you might have written down a lot of doubts. You might have written a lot of fears, a lot of negative feelings, a lot of negative beliefs. And there's a lot of ways that you can do this step. And I want you to just connect with whatever feels the most intuitive for you. But I want you to reframe them. I want you to imagine you are talking from your higher self to your current identity, almost like you are speaking to a child, and just helping them reframe it, helping them see it through a different lens, validating them, giving them the reassurance they need, literally like you would be speaking to a child. And most importantly, I want you to take any belief that you have written down and flip it into the opposite positive belief. These are going to be your new affirmations. You're going to write these down, and I want you to really tap into these affirmations every single day and start to really believe that this new belief is the truth and not the fear. And this really helps because your higher self knows the truth. It has already gotten to the top of the mountain. And so you can trust your higher self. And I think having a meeting with your higher self on a week-to-week basis can really help you start to build trust with that version of you, essentially. So going back to the example that we had, that I just don't trust that this is going to happen for me, flip it to I trust that success is waiting for me at the other side, right? Just write down anything that feels good to you, right? As long as it's a positive, forward-looking belief that actually supports you and your actions and your desires, then just go with that. Go with whatever comes up for you. Again, you don't want to overthink this, and you don't want to perfect it. Then, now that we're done with be, we're going to go to do. And I really like this part as well because it's going to allow you to look at each action step that you're taking right now. And for each one, you're going to ask yourself a couple of questions just to see if you're taking aligned action or not. Again, all of this through the lens of your higher self. So a couple of prompts that you can ask yourself for each of the action steps that you're taking is, does this feel in flow? Does this give me energy? Does this feel authentic to me? Right? All of these words are kind of interchangeable, right? Does this feel good for me? Or does this action step stem from force? Does this action step drain me? drain my energy? Does this action step feel like a performance, aka not authentic or in alignment with me? Does it feel like a should or an obligation? And where did it come from, right? Are you potentially comparing yourself to other people? Are you using somebody else's strategy, right? That is so common. I think most of us tend to look at experts and think just because they've reached a certain level of success that we need to copy their strategy. But ultimately, if it's costing you your energy, then it's not a good strategy. So you're just going to audit these action steps, and whatever is not in alignment with you, change it, delete it, cancel it, get it out. We're only focusing on actions that give us energy, that feel like flow, that feel authentic to us. And what's beautiful about all this is once you start to focus on the identity piece, the feelings and the beliefs that you just now reframed as your higher self, you're going to start showing up naturally with the action steps that come from flow and alignment. When you take the aligned action that is being fueled by the energy of your empowered higher self, right? The belief, the identity, the feelings, you then create your desired reality, the results, the outcome, the thing that we all desire. Do this every week for even just 2 weeks and watch how much your life transforms. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.